topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have a little surprise for our expert coming up. I actually told him in his email, I didn't tell him what it was yet, but we have been doing this show for 15 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We started with 1190 AM radio for 13 of those years. And during that time, we built up probably about close to 8,000 emails. So we did a little survey for the last month and a half, and it was tough to do because people don't like answering surveys, but we got probably 85% of them back. And I want to tell you, now we did this in all of our cities. Our expert who's coming up now, Dr. Ken Smith of Star Sleep and Wellness, it is our third best show out of 35 shows we do across the United States. It was our third highest rated show. Hey, good morning, Dr. Smith.
Morning. Gonna have to work harder. I don't like being third.
I know. We got the results back, and we did it nationwide because we're in about probably 25 cities and states. And your show came back third highest. And the two in front of you are shows that have been with us for probably close to 10 years. But I'm so proud. We were so proud that I replayed one of your shows before this one for the first half of the show. So they're getting double barreled today. Good to see you. And this is kind of dear to my heart because I have sleep apnea. I'm on a CPAP machine, been on it for 7 or 8 years, changed my life, probably saved my life, I should really say. And you have been doing this. How long have you been doing this for, Dr. Smith?
Close to 30 years.
It's amazing because I tell Dr. Smith that when I first started Ask the Experts, I tried to get Dr. Smith. And what happened was somebody would always jump on the show, and it wasn't a sleep show. And I always wanted to do a sleep show in Dallas. And finally, we got one. We have the best when it comes to sleep disorders, stop snoring. This is the best in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I don't even have to do any prep for this show because we're getting so many emails, Dr. Smith, people with questions. So we just ask their questions. Tell people about Star Sleep and Wellness. And I think you've got some new locations coming up.
Yeah, we started way back just in Irving, Texas, and then we moved into Frisco, and then we added McKinney, we added Dallas, we added Mansfield, we added Denton, and then Houston is coming on Monday. So Then we should be moving into Fort Worth and Arlington by the end of the year. And our first out of state location will probably be in North Carolina coming up sometime towards the end of the year as well. So we're trying to get out of Texas we have a lot of people moving to Texas, but
Yeah,
we're
that's right.
expanding. We're not moving, we're expanding out of Texas.
You
But we
know,
treat all
I
sleep disorders. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, sleep disorders
Yeah.
is something that it's amazing. We get, I don't know why it's the wives, Dr. Smith, that we get letters from, how do I convince my husband to come in and see you? I tell him he snores. I go in the other room. I know you get a lot of this, and it's usually the wives who write us.
Yeah, usually now it's funny. Just yesterday, I had a new golf coach I went to see, and he said, "Oh, you're a sleep doctor. Oh, man, I have not slept more than 2 hours in years. But boy, my wife, she snores like crazy. I got to get her in." It's like everybody I encounter has some kind of sleep problem. And I don't know if I'm drawn to them or they're drawn to me. I don't know how that works, but good grief, there's so many sleep problems out there. So I know why it's a top rated show, because people are interested in sleeping better.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I got to tell you, because a friend of mine snores here in Florida, and I tell her when we're watching a movie and she'll fall asleep and she'll start snoring, they always say, "Oh, I wasn't snoring," because
Yeah.
that's what I used to do. "Oh, I'm not snoring." No one ever wants to admit it.
Yeah, I know. I know. And yeah, males, it's 4-to-1 male problem. So I understand why and everybody thinks you have to be overweight to have it.
Right.
This golf coach yesterday was thin, and I can promise you he
Wow.
has sleep apnea. Haven't seen his wife yet, but yeah, in fact, 50% of people that have this problem are not overweight. It's genetic. So if your mom or dad snored, and I say this all the time, and somebody will tell me, "Oh, yeah, my mother has a CPAP machine and she never wears it, or she puts it under her bed." I said, "Well, there's other options." She's just stubborn. So I hear these stories all the time about if I see a patient, almost every time their mother or father had the same problem.
Dr. Smith, aren't you amazed how far things have come? I remember when I was first diagnosed, they sent me to a sleep study, and I had to spend the night there, and I was all hooked up to leads and everything. And now you just do it right from your home.
Yeah, I mean, they're even so small you can put one on your finger and get a
Wow.
good sleep study. It's amazing where the technology has come. We still have people, we had one yesterday that insisted on doing an in-lab study. They just wanted to do one. And I think probably it
Wow.
was to get away from their husband, because they it's a little peace and quiet. Maybe the kids at home, maybe dogs. I don't know. But I think sometimes people still want to go in lab. So we still have that option for people, but that's very unusual. Most people would prefer to do the study in the comfort of their own bed, their own
Right.
pillow, with their own temperature. And I get it. It just makes more sense. It's a more realistic look at your sleep. Going into a foreign environment to do a study doesn't make sense, because that's
That's right.
not how you normally sleep.
I got to tell everybody something, Dr. Smith. I was one of those deniers. The things that got to me is I fell asleep in a class. And listen, if you have sleep apnea, you don't get good sleep at all. So you're always falling asleep. But when you snore on top of it, I was so embarrassed in my class that not only did I fall asleep, but I was snoring. And the second thing, Dr. Smith, is several times I almost fell asleep at the wheel during the day. and I could have had a horrible wreck. And I even wonder, Dr. Smith, that some of these wrecks you hear about, you wonder, did they have sleep apnea that they fall asleep at the wheel? Because you could do it during the day, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the most likely time is during the afternoon at around
Yes.
2 o'clock or so, where there's what we call a sleep gate, where we really should be taking a nap. But in the US, we say, no, we're a hard driving, working nation. We're going to work right through that sleep gate. When countries like, Italy and Mexico, they take naps during that time, 2 hour naps, get up, go back to work and work until like 7, and then they eat at 9 o'clock. So it's a very natural thing to be sleepy in the afternoon. If you have sleep apnea, you'll be even sleepier. And it's scary out there. You see these
Yes.
big truck drivers, and when you
Yes.
see a big 18-wheeler that's run off the highway, I can almost guarantee you that truck driver fell asleep. They aren't getting good sleep because of untreated, undiagnosed sleep apnea. The Department of Transportation is very picky about these. They insist on these truck drivers, if they're not private companies, getting screened and treated, because they know for every dollar they spend to get the patient treated or the driver treated, they save $3 on timeliness, getting to their destination, on insurance costs, etc. So most companies are understanding that their drivers they're sedentary, they don't get much exercise, they eat at truck stops, and they're very likely to gain weight. And the more weight you gain, the more likely you are to have this sleep breathing disorder. So it's a chicken and egg thing, but honestly, I don't drive next to trucks anymore because it scares me.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you, I had to go in the hospital several weeks ago, and I told them I'm on a CPAP machine. I'm actually on a
BiPAP,
BiPAP machine.
right?
Yes, and they brought in the machine. It was so adequate. It was, first of all, it was huge. It was so uncomfortable. I can't believe I was like, I should have just brought mine with me. But you would think the hospital had like up to date equipment, and they didn't. This looked like an old from maybe 15 years ago. I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't know if yours was a scheduled appointment in the hospital, but if it was, they should have asked you to bring your machine if you have one, because
Yeah, I would have done it.
yeah, yeah,
I just
the
thought they had the latest.
it,
But you know what? We've got Dr. Smith. I've got so many questions from people, and I'm want to try to get them all in.
all
Um,
right.
Will in Plano said, "I love your show. I'm trying to get my wife, who snores, to listen with me. I think I've finally convinced her, and I know once she hears your show, she will want to make an appointment with you. What is your preference, CPAP or oral appliance?"
I mean, I have no preference. I think it depends on whatever the patient wants. Now, sometimes we suggest a CPAP machine if their apnea is pretty bad or severe. If it's mild or moderate, an oral device will work just as well. So until you get a diagnosis to find out what the level is, it doesn't mean you can't wear an oral appliance even if you're severe, but it's not as predictable as a
Mm.
CPAP machine or a bilevel, as you say. We call them PAP machines because that covers the whole spectrum. There's
Right.
APAP, there's BiPAP, there's VPAP, so we say PAP machine.
Well, I think some people, you hear about people who think they're uncomfortable. I got to tell you, I started off with a full face mask, and I didn't like it at all. I used the nasal, and I think maybe people should try both to see what they like best. Because I got to tell you, I feel so rested now that I have the BiPAP machine, and there is no way you could ever get me to not wear it one night. It's not that big a you don't if you wear if I think if after the first 3 weeks you just get used to it, I think. So
Well,
people who
yeah,
saying they
and
don't want
well, yeah, because you notice a significant difference when
yes,
you wear it and when you don't wear it, right? So you're
yes,
going to do everything you can to get used to that. And it took you about 3 weeks or whatever.
yes,
Some people, if they know they have the problem, but they don't really feel fatigued, and you don't have to be sleepy or fatigued. I mean, you can have other symptoms like high blood pressure and diabetes, acid reflux. There's a lot of
mm,
other side effects, and you may just be doing the caffeine thing all day and hiding or masking the fact that you would be sleepy if you didn't have to have that cup of coffee. So, I mean, I don't drink coffee. I have very healthy sleep. I get up in the morning, I feel rested. If you get up in the morning and you don't feel rested, there's a problem. If you have to have that alarm clock to wake you up and you just drag until you have that first cup of coffee, that's not a healthy way to live. But you
no,
mentioned the different masks. Yeah, there are definitely advantages to both, and you should try both. Unless you adjust to the very first mask you use and you love it, then that's great.
right, right,
But as you know, if you have a nasal mask, you have to keep your mouth closed all night. So that's the only trick to being able to use a nose mask, because if the air comes in your nose and your mouth is open, it comes right out your mouth and it's not doing you any good. So sometimes we have to go full face mask because people can't learn to keep their mouth closed during sleep.
exactly. Dr. Smith, I got to tell you, you've like become part of our family here. People love your show, and I just want to ask this because you had a very successful dental practice, very successful. What made you move over to sleep disorders?
It just was much more fulfilling to have somebody come in and want to see you. They're coming in because they really want help. When you're coming into a dentist, you know that they're about to give you a shot,
Yeah.
and it's just I used to get this comment all the time. Patients would say, "Nothing personal, doc, but I hate the dentist." Well, that is personal, okay?
That's right.
Nobody ever says, "I hate the sleep doc." They never say that. So they come in and I see fantastic responses when they come back, and they're like you feel
Yes,
so refreshed, and the best thing you ever did was to get that machine, right?
but you're right. Oh, you're
We get
so
these
right.
stories all the time. I mean, have you ever told people, I had a root canal? It's the best thing I ever did. I
Yeah,
loved getting
right.
that root canal. No.
That's right. Or as Seinfeld said, you're anti-denti. But you're right though. You feel I don't know anybody who had dental work said, "Oh, I feel," unless they had a toothache. But you're right. I mean, you feel so much better when you take care of the problem.
Yeah, it impacts so much of your life. I mean, it impacts your bed partner. So your bed partner likes you better if you're sleeping healthfully. It gives you more energy if you do feel fatigued and you don't feel like you have as much energy as you should have. A lot of people think, "Oh gosh, I've gotten older. I'm supposed to be fatigued. I'm supposed to be tired and sleepy." And no, 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 no. You don't have to be. Maybe you can't sleep as many hours as you used to. That's fairly normal when you get old, but
Right.
that's what naps are for. If you can take a nap and you're retired, or they let you sleep at work, they have a nap pod or something. We don't have many of those in Texas. That's a California thing, I think.
Okay. Hey, I want to get this question in. This is from Ray and Garland. I love the show, but most important, Dr. Smith's office helped me. I had a major problem. I have my CPAP machine now. I no longer have that problem. I can't thank them enough for helping me. A small question is, do I need to fill the humidifier?
Well, no, some people don't even use a humidifier.
Okay.
It's a very personalized thing. That's why there's different settings on it. Some people need a lot of humidity, but like if you drool, if you just if your face gets moist and stuff, the humidifier is too much. A lot of people never even use a humidifier. Most people do, but no, you do not need to fill the humidifier if you don't want to.
Okay. Julie Mesquite, and this is what we talked about. I think my husband has sleep apnea. We cannot even sleep in the same room.
Yep,
No,
he does.
yeah, yeah. What are the symptoms of sleep apnea, and how do I get him to admit he has a problem? I would love to get him in to see you.
Well, I think you just need to tell him he needs to up his life insurance because
Uh,
if he dies from cardiac arrest in the middle of sleep, you want to get paid for that, right? So that's a little bit of a joke, but it's in reality, you're much more likely to have health problems. It's not just about you, it's about his health too. So you just have to get him to care about. I understand with males, it's hard to get them to care about health. I get that. They think they're invincible. I
yeah,
understand. So it's tricky. Everybody is different. You might have to bribe your husband. You might have to threaten your husband. I don't know. There's lots of techniques about this, but you just need to learn all the signs and symptoms and the things that can happen with untreated sleep apnea, which is heart attack. That's like number one. High blood pressure starts it out. And if they haven't had their blood pressure taken recently, I would get the blood pressure taken. Chances are, if you can't sleep with him, he has high blood pressure because the heart is the first thing to be affected. And then every other
yes.
organ needs oxygen. Every organ in your body needs oxygen. And if you deprive of it during 8 hours of sleep, it can have very, man, I can't say it enough how dangerous it is to have untreated sleep apnea.
Listen, yeah, that's why I love doing this show so much, um, because I know that you could actually, I swear I could have had an accident, Dr. Smith, from
Oh, I
falling
know.
asleep.
I know.
And
People have gone to sleep on their way to our office for their first appointment and fallen
oh, I
asleep and
could
run
believe
off the
it.
road. They realize
Yeah,
they're sleepy like you did, and they just waited too late.
listen, I know the toll road, there's always accidents down there.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, 35. Do you ever think about when you hear about an accident? God, I wonder if they fell asleep. Do you ever
Every
think
time.
about that?
Every
Yeah, I
time.
bet you do.
If we had
Well,
no sleepy drivers out there, I can promise you, I get irritated when I'm delayed by traffic because of an accident because I know they probably fell asleep.
exactly. There are so many people walking around. I can just tell by the emails that we get. There's so many people walking around with sleep apnea that can be treated. I mean, it could save a marriage, right?
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, medical insurance pays for this. It's you just have to
Yes,
admit the problem or get your bed partner to admit the problem. You have to take that next step because it's 85% undiagnosed out there. People just don't want to get diagnosed. They're afraid of it because then they
right.
think, then I'm labeled as an apneic the rest of my life and I have to wear something the rest of my life. No thanks.
You know, this is why I loved getting you on our show because I think this is such an important area. Um, do you have like a number, a phone number that's good for all your locations?
Yes, one number is good for all locations, even the Houston location.
Oh,
Eight,
okay.
yes, 844-409-4657.
And do you have a website?
Yes, stswell.com. stswell.com.
Dr. Smith will be back again with us next month. Hey, listen, I shouldn't be surprised that your show was rated so high, but boy, I tell you what, you've really created a great audience, Dr. Smith. We're so lucky to have you, and um, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next month.
Thank you. Everybody sleep well out there.
Yes. Thanks, Dr. Smith. That's Dr. Kent Smith. Folks, I'm telling you, if you or your wife or a family member has a snoring problem, get them in to see Dr. Smith. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.